Greetings, Sage Nation, Sage Nation. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's Gucci. Hope you're having a blessed day, It's always good to show gratitude. You're alive. You get to experience life. You get to experience happiness and sadness and pain and love and all the things under the sun. How y'all doing? I'm back at it again with another video. As you can see, I am dressed up to the nines, looking as sharp as a blade. What's good? But yeah, I am not just dressed up sitting around in my room. That would be really funny, but no, I'm not. I just got back from a job interview at a place that I really hope I get hired at. But a couple of topics I wanted to cover. First of all, I hate job interviews. Worst thing in human existence, or one of the worst, at least top 5, is job interviews. Over war and famine, over weapons of mass destructions, job interviews is right there. Because, man, I just feel like they could be handled so differently, And it's just like some establishments do handle them the correct way. They handle them well, but then others are just like, ugh, Like they just ask you these questions like bro, like we both know I'm here because I need money. All you should be evaluating for is whether I'm the type of person who's gonna steal from you, if I'm gonna be lazy, or if I'm gonna be, just not a good time to be around, because that's all that matters at work. Who cares what I bring to the team? She asked me today, so if you're to be hired, what would you bring to the team? I'm just like, you can feel my energy. This is what I would bring to the team, the energy that I'm putting out. You know what I mean? So it's like, why are you even at? That's such a redundant question. So I had to come up with something on the fly. I was like, I bring altruistic values, and I'm a hard worker. Like I don't ever feel the need to underserve a guest because I don't feel like working, because I'm at work, so I'm here to work. I'm here to give myself, And yeah, I answered it, but I definitely stumbled a little bit because I was just like, oh, it's one of these questions. But yeah, I think it went well, but I don't think I'm gonna get hired there because I don't know. You can always feel the energy when someone is when you're gonna get the job. I could be wrong, because I do think I had a good interview, but when I came in, she hadn't printed out my resume. She was kind of like, oh, I have an interview today. I forgot, type of energy. Like, oh, let me go do this interview. So I got there. I was like, no. But then, I still gave it my best. And yeah, let me gather my thoughts. Yeah, couple of things that I noticed today. Well, after that, I had a lot of spare time. I was thinking the interview would take a little bit longer. It was like a 10-15 minute interview. I was thinking it would take a little bit longer, so I had some time. So I walked to I was down in the heart of downtown, so I just kept walking, and I went into every bar or a pub or high scale restaurant that was in the area. I just walked down the blocks and just went in there, asked for a hiring manager, spoke with some of them. Some of them actually went really well, and I got a whole bunch of their business cards, a bunch of their business cards, so I can email them on my own time, and just so that they can put a name to a face, because it's crazy out here looking for work. And one thing I noticed while I was out there was that every time, or not every time, probably 3 out of the 10 times that I asked for a hiring manager, it was a woman that came out. Isn't that crazy? It was a woman. And not to say that woman can't do the job, but why is that the case? And then I would check and I would look at the staff, and most times, not every time, but most times, it would be a bunch of beta looking men, or men that looked like they were gay. I was just like, what does the world come into? You know, it goes back to what I was saying, that this world is not for us, and it's like everything's upside down, everything's backwards. It's not the right way because we're not supposed to be here. It's not meant for us. On earth, down is up and up is down. Why are women in these positions? Why are they being hired preferably over men? Are they just more skilled than men, or is it because they're more, what's the word, malleable than men, so that whoever is the higher up, they know that a woman's in charge, and so they will follow the directions to a T. That might be it. That could be it. You know, that could be it, because women are definitely more easy to, you know, in the workplace. They're easier to manage in the workplace because they listen to the boss because, you know, hypergamy, and that's just how they work. You know, it's the same reason why your woman will never, or not your woman, but a woman will never question her boss, but she'll go home and argue with her husband over making a sandwich for him, because, you know, that's how they're set up that way. So yeah, I thought it was very intriguing. I was like, wow, look at this. And I'm hoping to God that I get hired by the establishment that's run by a man, because I think it'll just be a way better time for me. You know, because working under a woman is always, you know, especially when they're attractive too. There were some bad hiring managers. I was like, man, you're the manager, shit. Let me clock in right now. No, I'm playing. But yeah, oh my gosh, I had some conversation topics written down. Can I continue this video? Damn, I forgot to look it up before I started. Let me see if I can keep the video going while I go to my notes real quick. Is that possible? My fault. I had to check my notes real quick. So this will be part 2 to the previous video. It's my fault. You know, I was a little bit too excited to make this video for y'all. But here we go. So the topics I wanted to cover. Being a multi-dimensional being will be the first topic. So what being a multi-dimensional being entails means that you can exist in any room. You are not chained to certain identities or certain cultural practices. You are the key that can fit in every lock. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm playing. But yeah, so what that means is, like, for example, when you're in school, you know, there's the different cliques. There's the cool kids, there's the skaters, there's the nerds, there's the geeks, all that stuff, right? And those are all like identities that people have. And for whatever reason, I think I could probably guess why. It's pretty simple when you think about it. People don't like to stray away from their tribe because it's unsafe. And that goes back to, you know, us being hunter-gatherers. You don't want to leave the village and try to make it out on your own because it's dangerous, right? So once people find their tribe or their clique, they hang on to it for dear life. But if you're on this channel, it means you're not afraid to stand alone. You're probably a lone wolf. And yeah, so you are able, or you're striving to be able to talk and conversate and find common ground with anyone and everything, or anyone in any place, because it'll open life up to you way more. You just have that skill, which just makes you that much more comfortable to talk to random strangers, even though y'all don't look alike. And it even goes as deep as race, right? So I was always looked at in school like I was an Oreo or like a half caste, you know. I'm gonna quote Childish Gambino here. I was too black for the white kids and too white for the black. You know? And so yeah, but I always just felt like, why do I need to stick to these people? Like, even though I fuck with y'all, like I fuck with my black friends, I fucked with my white friends, I fucked with my Asian friends, I fucked with my brown friends. And life was just that much sweeter because I just had so many people that I could learn from. Like, I didn't put my mind in a cage, you know? Like, people will really ask you, like, oh, why are you hanging out with them? I'm just like, because they're people. why would I not talk to them? Like, Martin Luther King died for a reason. Like, damn, we're literally living in this dream right now. And like, some of them will blame, or they'll say, oh, white people are racist, or these brown people are racist. It's like, no, y'all are just y'all aren't self-aware. Even my kinsmen, my Nigerian people try to tease me and outcast me because I don't I don't like I don't try to make sure that they think I'm the most Nigerian person in the world. So I don't like, cave into their, oh, talk. Why aren't you talking like us? Or why aren't you eating like us? Why aren't you? I'm not. It's like, I am who I am. I was born. That's where I was. I spawned was in Nigeria, but I'm way more than just a Nigerian. I'm a human being. I am an evolved being. I don't have to limit myself to just where I came from, because believe it or not, every culture has something to offer, but they also have their negative sides. you know and so you miss out, and you punish yourself by not being willing to engage with those people that you can learn from anyone, anything. And funny enough, some of the nicest people I've met have been from different cultures. Like my best friend when I was in the States, she was a white woman, lovely, 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 lovely woman. She was like my second mom, man. I spent so much time over there. She took care of us, man. She didn't see color. She wasn't racist at all. She was nicer than a lot of my aunties and extended family. Believe it or not, she was a great woman. And I had a brown friend. His family was, they were sweet. They were, and the only time when you might get that crack or that little taste of racism is when you make them uncomfortable. And that's not just by you being black, it's by how you present and carry yourself. You know what I mean? And yes, I know I'm light skinned, so like I have the benefit of the doubt, and I don't like dress that way, and I carry myself differently. But if you see the world through that lens, that's all the world is going to show you. And the more that you dig your heels into being like so pro your culture, the more you'll deflect other people away, because they feel like you don't have any room to accept them. So it's an individual thing, right? And so yeah, being a multidimensional being, you have to be okay to talk to people that don't look like you, or aren't from where you're from, or don't have the same values as you. Well, let me not say values, because values are like, you can't substitute good values for bad values. Like I think baseline values are like, be a decent human being across all cultures. But you get what I'm trying to say. And the next topic is developing different eyes. And this is an analogy from Naruto. So in Naruto, if you've watched anime and you don't know what Naruto is, in Naruto there are things called wow, it's been a minute, I don't even remember. Let's just call them Kekkei Genkai. I think that's it. Kekkei Genkai, which is like every clan has like an ocular jutsu power, which is like their eyes can do different things for them on the battlefield. So for example, the Uchiha clan had the Sharingan, right? And so they could see, like they could if you did a move, they could copy it perfectly and give it right back to you. And then there's the Renegon, which is damn, what does the Renegon do again? I forgot. It's been a minute since I I did my Naruto research. The Renegon, I don't remember. What was it? Is it like you could see into the future a little bit? I forgot. Y'all have to correct me in the comments, but you get the point. It's an ocular jutsu. And then there was another one, the Byakugan, which helped you see people's chakra points, so you could like manage the battle better, because you kind of have an idea of what they're going to do based on their chakra points, etc., etc. So developing different eyes in the real world, it is, for example, when you're a kid, you have very novice eyes, so you don't even see when your room is dirty. You don't see when your bathroom needs to be washed. You don't even see when the trash needs to be taken out, because it's not downloaded into your software as something that you need to take care of. So your eyes are just blank to it, And the older you get, you develop higher levels of eyes. The more responsibility you take, that your eyes get sharper. You start to see things more clearly and more depthly. So for example, like now I've reached a certain point in my life where I can read people strictly based off of body language. I guess there's gonna be three parts to this video since the powers that be don't want me to prosper. God damn. I had iPhone storage problems again. I need to get more fucking terabytes or whatever. But where was I? So yeah, I got to a point where I I can see how people or the way people are feeling based off their body language, facial expressions, just their overall energy, right? And that goes into when your eyes get more skilled, they get more adept. The older you get, the more experiences you've had, you know, and yeah, yeah, it happens. It just happens over time. You know, like the more time you spend in this world, the more things you experience. You know, you're forced to learn these things unless you just want to keep staying in the dark and not having any control over your life. You know, and so yeah, your eyes, developing different eyes is the name of this topic. I can't really give you any like bullet points on it, just besides trying to be more present and more conscious and more of your interactions with people, and even managing. Like I have some experience managing a restaurant, and so you know, picking up on these subtleties over time, dealing with people, talking to people as a bartender, you know, you get more adept with it. And so yeah, and the next topic is the world is just a bunch of rooms. And by that I mean if you can learn how to exist in one room, no matter where you go, you'll be fine. You'll be like a standout person in any room, you know, because us humans, we like to put a lot of titles on a bunch of things, but everything is literally all about energy, man. And I have a good example about this one. So the world is just a whole bunch of rooms, right? So I went to go work in, and this goes back to a story that I spoke about in one of my previous videos when I was working as a bartender at the nightclub slash restaurant thing, where the light skinned girl who could give Beyonce a run for her money was there. Yeah, that story. So when I was working there, right, I don't want to be arrogant, but I was the prominent male figure in the establishment because the other two males were not, let me not say both. It was co-owned by two different men. One of the men was friends with my stepmom's best friend. That's how I got the job, right? So one of the men, but he was there the most often, was extremely feminized. The other guy was cool. I liked him. We got along very well. But the other guy was extremely feminized. And so based off of his energy, you couldn't tell who was the co-owner between the two of us, right? Because my energy is giving off, you know, high frequency masculine energy. He's giving off like second guessy feminine passive aggressive energy, right? And so him and his partner would butt heads a little bit because of that thing, but because of the energy, you wouldn't be able to tell who was the owner. People would come up to me and ask me for things thinking that I was the owner or I was someone of importance in the establishment because of my energy, the way that I carried myself, you know. And that goes to that goes into being able to exist in every room. The world is just a whole bunch of rooms. If you're able to conquer one room, you can conquer any room. You know what I mean? And so yeah, the world is just a bunch of rooms. You know, the world isn't as big as you think it is. Everything goes into everything. Everything is a metaphor for everything. You know, you can find similarities in anything that you do, any room that you go into. You'll see that there's people with high energy, people with low energy, people with energy in between, all sorts of things, but it applies to every room. So if you can conquer one room, you can conquer any room. And that is it. Sage is out. Y'all be good. Unfortunately, I'm recording from my phone, so I can't mesh all these videos together. Well, maybe I can if I get a certain app. I'll look into that. But yeah, Sage is out. Y'all be good. Have a good one.